Welcome to iSnap Interviews, Miss Brandy. How you doing?
I'm doing well, and yourself?
I'm doing fantastic, doing pretty well. Yeah, I definitely brought you on my interviews today because I want to go ahead and talk about your series you got going, your Sim series going on. Why don't you go ahead and tell us about it?
Whew. Oh yeah, it's been a long road. It's been a year since I actually released it. So this series was just created to just keep my anxiety and all that down. But the series is basically a series of event drama. So it'd be a lot of different stories, a lot of different connections, and a lot of different characters. But it's worth the watch.
Oh, okay. Yeah, definitely watched a few episodes myself, and it pretty much does definitely remind me of a lot of drama, like watching the General Hospitals,
Not
all my
General
children,
Hospitals.
all that. So yeah, why don't you go ahead and tell us the overall story of your series, Tales of Villbridge, correct?
Yes, that's what it's called. It's called Tales of Villbridge. You can watch it on YouTube and on Patreon, but I'll explain the YouTube breakdown. But the Patreon, you can catch it, all the episodes on there. So basically, it focuses on, I want to say it's 2, 3, so was it 3 couples and like 1 individual person? So their stories are being told, but there's more stories that will come further in the series. But it focuses on the 7 characters, I think it is. And it just, you have a couple that went through like domestic violence. You will see just a lot of trouble. You'll see just how each character connects with each other. So it's basically like power, money, drugs, sex, the typical stuff that we watch on TV. So, but how it came about. The story is not about my life. It's not about anything that I went through, but somebody can probably relate to the story, especially the very first characters they're introduced in the beginning of the series. So I can give the characters names. So the opening set of the characters, you have Leon, Ivy, you have Scarlett, Martell, you have Justice and Ace, and then you have Edric, which is everybody's favorite.
Eric is my boy, just to let y'all know. Eric, he is that guy. You definitely want to support this man and everything that he's doing. He definitely represents the brothers very well.
But the series is like, so when I created it, I just did it out of the the writing aspect. Like, I like to write, I like to type, I like to do those things. I'm real creative. So I always find a way to be super creative. And I was like, let me just play around and see, how this goes. And which the story thing goes all the way back to when Sims 2 came out. That was when everybody got into modding and custom content and things like that. And I got to try to do the story thing, but I was like, I don't know. I'll probably try it down the line, like later on. But I've been playing The Sims since I was like 10, 11 years old. So I've been there since the very beginning. But this one was just different because you were able to use other people's work that they created, like clothes, houses, different mods, and you got to kind of play around with it. And I was like, okay, well, I'll create one little episode. And then it was just, I said, okay, well, I'll show my friends this first one. Like, I was learning how to do the font and putting the words together and the frame and the duration of the timer. And I said, okay, this might be something. And then it turned into 2, then 3 episodes. And then now it turned into a total of 28 episodes. I was like, oh, man. I didn't think it can go this far. And all of my friends, including yourself, y'all got to see what I actually brought to life. Like, I didn't think I could make this be like an actual series. And me being a gamer, I'm like, okay, put my gaming creative here, put my writing together, and boom, you got like a whole 28 episode series.
Yeah. Now, is there a process that you pretty much go through when you are thinking about putting together your stories as you work through each episode?
Yep, I do go through a process. So I try not to make it long, like trying to draw out the same scene too many times. So I just kind of have to sit back and write it out. Like I have a notebook, and the notebook is what started the creative process. So I came up with character names. Like when I was explaining to everybody, which Martell and Scarlett, they're already in-house characters. They were from a previous crash at the beginning when I went through the first stages of learning how to do everything. But the process starts with me having to write it out. And then now I have this thing where I'll dream my process. And I'll wake up and be like, okay, I'm gonna put this in this episode. And actually it works out because I'm like, okay, I dream this scene, and this person gotta be this, and then it's like I gotta go through having to build different sets and different backgrounds to try to fit the timeline of that event. So it is a process. So it takes days, it could take weeks, it could take months, just because I don't want to just make the episode just be like, oh, here you go, you're just gonna watch it like that. No, I it's time dedication. I'll be up hours of the night, like, okay, I'll be editing and be like, okay, this is what y'all gonna get. In which the first few episodes are light, but now because I did a revamp, the episodes are hours out. So that gives you enough time to bask in all of what's going on, and it gives me time to come up with the next episode or the next character or however I do it. But the process is long, but it's worth it. It's worth it.
Oh yeah, definitely. And and into developing your stories and your process, like what inspired you? What gave you the process to put the characters and their characteristics as they are?
Oh, that's a good question. Just watching how people are in real life. Like, people really go through the stuff that, it's just a game. The game is a simulation, so they do the same things we do, except, we move throughout the day. So it just was like, well, let me make it like modern, because it's the stuff that we see, we deal with it. So if I see like a girl on the street, I'll be like, okay, that's where I can get my next inspiration from. If I see, people dealing with like mental issues, that'll make me put that in their character and make me give them a background of why they're like that. So like, for example, the one character that everybody hates.
I think I know who you're talking about.
Everybody hates this character.
Mr. Foundation.
Yes.
Mr. Foundation himself.
So Leon is, his background, because I can give character backgrounds. That's why I've been trying to do with the Patreon, is try to give each person a breakdown of each character, like where their stories come from. Like I'm literally making these stories up. But like with Leon, his character, he deals with being bipolar, but also dealing with mental health issues. So y'all see how he comes about. And it's like, I just take somebody's life and just put it in the game, and then show that you're not the only one that's dealing with this type of thing. You got your drug dealers, you got your high society people that make their money, you got people who just be like, okay, I was in the streets back in this time, and then it's like, that's how I push myself. Is like, if I continue to look at somebody, a new character will be developed because of what that person might have went through. It's not that person, their name or nothing like that, or what they look like. It's just, oh, okay, this character might work because they done went through this. And I have so many different characters. I think I have a total of 28 Sims. I'll be on it. Be on a roll.
Yeah, and we're looking forward to even more characters to develop, because you never know, like one story will pretty much add into a whole new story that adds more of an element into the overall series.
Exactly. So I have this thing where I'll do new character. Like, so you've seen where I put the name of the character. So now, because it's close to the end of the finish line of the very first season, there are a few characters that's been introduced towards the end. Now, I'm working on the very, very last episode, so I think it's 4 new people that's in that one. Because some stories will eventually fade out, and then you'll get new stories that will come in. Because I wanted to keep it where this person has a story, the next person has a story, and then how that person is connected to this story, like how the one character, I'm not gonna mention that name because I want people to watch it, but y'all know the name that has took the series from the beginning, and now it's a he, not a she, it's a
Okay.
he. He's ending that, he's gonna end the season off of a cliffhanger. But you guys will find out probably in the next season who did it. So I just want to kind of let it simmer, let people watch it. But it is 27 episodes with 3 sets of part 2. So you have part 1, part 2, which you got 12, 15, and 21. Which 28 will be the very start of the part 2 going into part 1.
Okay. Now, when putting all these stories together, you say you get a lot of your inspiration from pretty much like watching everyday people's lives. Now, when you piece those stories together, are you also like having in your mind where you're like sharing a message to anybody who might need awareness, whereas like dealing with mental illness, dealing with domestic violence, critical issues that do pop up in every person's every individual's lives at some point?
Yes, I do. There is a specific episode that I do put a message in there, and I do, spread it. In the beginning of all of my intros, except 1 through 14, they don't have like a message. It just says viewers' discretion is advised. But when I came back, I have to put, this is just a series of events, and I'll say no Sims were harmed in the making of this, because I'm thinking of it as you watch something on TV, like something that's fictional. Like if you watch, like, Law and Order, or you watch Grey's Anatomy, you'll know that they have a certain episode that will push a message out. Like, the shows from the 90s that had the messages, and the 80s and stuff like that. And it's just one particular episode. It took me a while to work on it because I wanted to showcase that you're not alone. You're not by yourself. You got people that can help you. You got some people that can't. But I just wanted to show that part, that you're not alone. You gotta, just get the help. Don't be afraid to get help. I think it's episode 25, 26, I think it is. That's where I put it. Because it was like with domestic violence being the very first part of the timeline, you'll start to see like what the woman or the man went through, and then how she got there, and then it's like you have pride and all this other stuff. But I make sure to showcase this because yes, it's a game to people, but to me it's hard. It's me caring, showing that this is what everyday life goes through. Whether we watch it on TV, whether we see it on the news, it's in the game. But the game, like I said, it's my series is not just a series. It's something that I worked on for hours and hours and hours. And when I mean hours, I mean this episode might be for you. You might feel some type of way about this episode. And it's like, like you have domestic violence, you have mental health, you have suicide, you have LGBT, you have all that. Like I ain't Xing nobody out. That's the reason why I made this series, because it's something that you could just sit and watch and be like, oh, she went through that, I went through that. Nobody understands. I can relate to that character. So you'll see as from each episode, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And then when I came back after that month and a half hiatus, I was like, oh, I'm on the go. I gotta do this the right way. And I get emotional when I write the episodes because it's like I've seen somebody deal with that, or I dealt with it. So it could be a pinch of probably something I went through and not me not knowing it. But that's why I try to push it so people can watch it and be like, oh, okay. She did her thing. So yeah.
Okay. Now I only have like $1 million question, and that's only is Leon going to be a continuing character throughout the series? Because I hate to be the person to be like this, but it's like I really cannot stand him. Like he needs to get gone or something.
So here's what my plan is. I've mentioned on Facebook, my Facebook Live and Twitch stream and all that. Some characters will come back, some won't. Some won't because a lot of them they don't have a storyline or they don't have a connection to somebody. So you just gotta kind of sit back and be like, man, that's why that cliffhanger it's gonna hit y'all with some stuff. Cause y'all boy, I can kind of give a snippet. He is in the last episode, so you'll kind of see where he goes from there. But you'll see a lot of changes in a lot of characters too. Like, some have moved on, some have did this, and this. Because I'm trying to not showcase the same people because I want it to be a series of events. So it's like you got to see Leon and Ivy's story, you got to see Martell and Scarlett's story. You got to see a little bit of Justice in Ace's story, but the story more focused on Ace than Justice. So you'll kind of see their little dynamic change. You'll see Edric's life change. I'm not giving them the details, but y'all see his life change. And it's just characters that, which I can name a few characters off. You'll see a change in Jamarcus. You'll see a change in Frank. You'll see a change in Barbie. Like the characters that y'all got, y'all will see a change in that. But y'all also will see the change in Yvette. Cause y'all girl out here, she cutting up.
Oh, yeah.
So y'all see her life changing. You'll see other characters, their lives changing. So when that season ends, like I said, you can go back and watch it as many times as you want. And then now you'll get the feel of, okay, this character might come back, I hope this. And with that platform, I'm giving people to watch it and express their feelings of each character. Because then when you give me your feedback or your suggestion, y'all know I can take somebody out. I'm the writer. So if I don't like that person, you gotta go. you gotta leave. I gotta find somebody new to fix it. But right now, I'm just focusing on just who I want to be in this last episode. So you can kind of see, okay, this person might be in the next beginning of when I do come back. I changed my mind. I don't want to do a voiceover. I might just continue the way that I have it because writing is therapeutic for me. Because if I do the voice thing, it's probably going to annoy me. Because I'm going to have to try to find the right person to be a part of this. And I want people to be consistent. I don't want that to be like, okay, I need your voice on Monday, but I need your voice on Saturday. I'm going to keep it tighter.
Okay, so basically, in other words, everybody gets to be Red from Pokemon.
Pretty much.
The protagonist that just he's not going to say anything, but he knows what he's talking about. And everybody understands what he's talking about.
That part. So right now, whoever y'all characters is, y'all got y'all locked. Y'all just have to keep watching and see who gonna stay and who gonna go.
Okay. Well, y'all heard here, folks. Definitely get on and watch the series Tales of Villbridge. Very, very, very worth it. You will have the characters that you will love to love, and you have characters that you will love to hate. Leon's definitely the number one for that one. So, yeah, and also please note how much foundation that he be wearing. He has a shot for L'Oreal every single time he shows
him. His character, this dude.
Yeah. So, thank you for coming on to my Snap Interviews Live, and I appreciate you and everything you do.